Welcome to the KBB Review podcast. I'm Andy Davies, and this is another of our very special Insights 2026 series of daily episodes where we talk to leaders at some of the biggest brands in the kitchen and bathroom industry. We're getting their candid evaluations and conclusions on 2025 and seeing what their thoughts, predictions and plans are for 2026. It's all top-level stuff and a proper snapshot of where the sector is as we head into the new year. Today, slightly different, we're talking design trends with Aimee Fletcher, the Product and Development Manager at one of the biggest brands in the sector, Egger. We're discussing the design-led shifts that shaped 2025, and Aimee reveals the tactile, tonal and textural influences guiding both Egger and the wider market into 2026. This is a proper insight into how Egger helps shape the way the industry sees its furniture, and it's fascinating stuff. You can find out all about Egger at egger.com, and that link is in the episode description. And here is Aimee Fletcher. Hello, Aimee.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Where are you today?
I'm in Newcastle, so not far from our Hexham plant. Just doing a working from home day today.
When you say it's a plant up in Hexham, it's a proper factory. It's like a
Yep.
proper Bond villain lair of a factory, isn't it? It's amazing.
It has been featured in Vera, so it is a location of interest, yeah, but it is a all singing, all dancing factory. There's a lot going on. We've got a design forum there as well and a lot of offices, but it's always super busy. So yeah, it's quite iconic for those people coming up the A69.
I'm trying to think if there's any parts of Northumberland that haven't been featured in Vera. I think it's probably easy to find places that aren't. If you own a remote cottage on a moor, then that's probably where the murderer lives at some point. Anyway, so you're the product and development manager there. So we're going to talk about products from Egger today. But before we look at what you think might come up in 2026, let's kind of rewind to 2025 and what your view of it has been from a product development point of view, because it's been a difficult market, I think, and no one's going to pretend that that isn't the case. But do market conditions inform which products are developed, which products sell, the focus that people have on finishes? Are they very familiar? Do they play into the idea of nesting, or are people looking for very bold new ideas?
There's a lot that goes on when we're in a downward market. I think the best thing to do is really look at it as what do you develop to make sure that you've got the right products at the right times. So those people that use this time to develop their ranges, it gives you a bit of time actually to consider what are everybody looking at. So from my perspective, we had to look at really where we develop our ranges. We've done a lot with our fieldwood ranges in the past, which are more premium, but we needed to do more maybe development on standard wood grains, on the colours, think about the colours and the longevity and the consideration for that. Spent a lot of time developing our new TM range, which is a chipboard range with a lacquer over the top. So it's in the middle price point, meaning that people that are striving for a premium price point, if they're wanting something that's a bit more sustainable and slightly cheaper with not as high quality a finish, but still a really superior finish, then we've developed that area. So we're always looking at a good, better, best, really. We spent a lot of time developing material finishes as well, because people still want the trends. They're just sometimes a little bit more cautious. So looking at really what we can do to develop our material finishes that look real, like solid stone, real veneers, but obviously at an affordable price point for people that are wanting that premium finish. But obviously it's more difficult at a time when we're at a full stretch.
It's always an odd thing to be a fan of, really, but I do find the production of the actual board really quite fascinating, right? Because the accuracy and the uniformity of being able to produce it over and over again to such high accuracy, I just find fascinating. And secondly, it's the one bit of the trend journey that people don't probably consider enough. They think of the trends start when it's already a kitchen, if that makes sense. Whereas actually the trends start with guys like you way back looking at random bits of wood off a beach somewhere and trying to recreate it. So whereabouts in the journey are you now in terms of a new product cycle?
I mean, we will launch our new collection in February. So we will have an EDC 2026, all additional decors. So it means we're not actually outrunning anything from our 2024 collection, which is fantastic news for a lot of our customers, because that's always a tough one. But we start that development, I'm already starting to think about 2028 in the start of next year. So it does tend to take a 2-year cycle now. We want to keep on top of the trends, but you've still got to be researching that now to say, well, where are we going to be in the next 2 years, which of course is a little bit difficult at the moment. We have noticed that the consumer's almost taking baby steps. They're not future planning. At the moment, they used to think where we're going to do things in 5, 10 years' time. Now people are just looking ahead for maybe a year and saying what we're going to do next year. So it's a tricky one, but we're still on it all of the time. You've got to look at what the global trends are, visit the fairs. I don't personally nip to the beach and scan a piece of wood, but I definitely do our research as to where the consumers' heads are at, what's happening even in fashion, in soft furnishings. Is that really going to translate into a UK product? Because we look at it globally and locally as well. So there's a huge thought process and research that goes in behind it. So even though now we're on a shorter cycle of a 2-year cycle rather than a 4-year cycle that we were before, it's really tough to nail it. But the positivity around the new collection and what we've shown to customers so far has been, yeah, it's totally on the mark. That works really well. You're right when you were talking about the cocooning as well. People are looking for some really lovely safe decors at the moment. So we've got some that are, I would say, a little bit different to where we've been before, but super commercial. And it means that we can be trendy and there's longevity in those colours as well. So it's a real science.
It is a real science. That's exactly the right word for it. So look, you've got your new ranges coming out in February in 2026. Can you talk or can you tell us anything about them, or is that all very under wraps?
Oh, I can give you a little few highlights that I expect that will do well, because we have started to have consultative meetings with customers, showing them a few previews. I would say for us, it's things like our Perfect Sense TM. We'll launch some new earthy colours in that palette. We've got new textures, things like our Structure 17 will launch, which is an all-over pour that basically it's on a standard wood grain but looks and feels like real veneer. So taking that technology and that success that we had in the last collection of our Structure 40, the matteness quality of it, but then putting it on a standard wood grain, so it means that it's in a really affordable price category but it really looks like a premium veneer. So that's obviously a great sustainability message to have. We're launching a repeatless decor as well. So it's called Book Match Oak on a Structure 17. So it's the look and feel of a crown cut veneer, but it's in our standard wood grain range, which means it's really accessible for everyone. It looks great in large panel format, but if you're just wanting to build a breakfast unit with a really traditional looking oak veneer, it hits the mark as well. So we have had nothing but fantastic feedback on that. But I think our biggest highlight of the next collection coming in February will be ambience. So this is a synchronized granite looking surface. So it's matte and gloss. Very difficult to describe without actually showing you, but it really looks like solid stone. So for us to launch that, we will have it in board, we'll have it in worktops, we'll have it in laminate, we'll have it in edging, we have everything. So if you're wanting to do just one of those really fashionable media units, you could use it as wall paneling. If you're wanting to use it as stone and have a solid stone looking island, so looking really premium, but obviously it's again in an affordable price point. So a great alternative to solid stones. We all know everybody strives for those at the moment and they're really fashionable, but obviously the silica issue and getting them fitted by a specialist, there's all those issues. So us coming up with a stunning alternative, and I would say stunning because that's how the feedback has been. It's great to be enthusiastically showing customers this over and over again. We have an awful lot of meetings between now and Christmas to showcase the new collection, and I find it really difficult to dampen my enthusiasm on the product. It is fantastic, but I'm getting that from our customers as well. So I would say they are the key highlights for the new collection.
So it really sounds there like the natural finishes, the organic finishes, they're showing no signs of losing popularity at all.
No, I would say key trends for us for 2026, there's a lot of earthy tones, like caramels and chocolates. So you can see that at the moment coming through from the paint manufacturers, from soft furnishings. You see it in fashion. Every day I seem to coordinate with the decors that I'm showcasing, but it's just how everything's going. Everything is following a particular color palette. So adding those into the mix, a lot of mulberry and burgundy tones, so that one's coming as well. But the biggest trend, I think, is things like beige. Beige is the new grey. Not those yellow old alabasters, but when you were talking about the softness and the cocooning, yeah, it's really cozy. It's easy to mix with everything. So I wouldn't just say beige as a solid color, but as material finishes as well, and how they all mix together. Other things like curves and organic shapes. So I've even seen like your kitchen tabletops or your breakfast bars, they're now getting irregular shapes, and curved end panels are actually coming back into play. So it's a really interesting fashion how that pebble soft upholstery trend that was coming through is now starting to translate into fitted furniture. Color drenching, that's a big one for us, where you're mixing the same color tone but with different textures and materials. We also are very much thinking about craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is quite key, I think, with AI taking over. People are starting to want to go back to the basics and think about the curation and the way we put furniture together. So we've seen a lot more interest in people wanting to book match furniture or create an in-frame Japandi style that feels elevated and considered. And lastly, I think Italian style is just having a big influence on the UK market. I think got maybe four key areas that generally we've been slab or shaker in the UK market. We've had some Germanic influences over the years, but that Italian style is starting to really push through. So darker, richer wood grains. So walnut has had a resurgence for us. And when we launched Warmier Walnut in the last collection, that's in the top area of our last sales because people are looking for that richer, more expensive feeling, but at a standard price.
Well, that's officially a comprehensive answer, Amy. Thank you very much. Absolutely brilliant. Look, I mean, there's so much in there, and as I say, you are at the start of the trend journey, I think, when it comes to furniture, and I think it's the bit that people really don't realize the amount of work that you guys put into picking those finishes and those colors and the technology that's involved in that. I always think one of the reasons why natural finishes are so popular is because the technology from guys like you is able to reproduce it so closely now in a way that could never have been done in the past.
It's sustainability as well, and that is a key, especially for the UK market. I mean, we're leaps and bounds ahead of some other markets, I think. So it is quite a key thing for the consumer now, but they're not expecting to pay more for it. They're just expecting that we're doing that work in the background. So that is a key part of my role, is to look at what our product offer is and what is the most sustainable solution. So it's a great message for us to launch our texture meets color range, because that means that's a painted wood grain range, and we'll put new colors in. So that's fantastic, new trend colors into that, but a lot more beige as well. So it's really commercial. So people aren't using those veneer end panels. They can just use chipboard, but it looks exactly the same. And we've got a paintable version as well. In our lacquered range, where you've got the matte finish, again, we've thought about the core on that. So the volume of lacquer on the surface is really super smooth, much like you would have with your MDF, but it means that now that can be fully recycled as well. So it's just ticking those boxes of making sure we've got the right balance. So yeah, it's like you said it before, it's very much a thought process and a development. There's a lot more that goes into chipboard than just
Yeah, and then there's the constant science and technology of it all. I just find that, because I love science and gadgets and things, and it's just the constant science and technology of it is just fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing all this with us, Amy. It's been absolutely fascinating. But there is one last question that is the most important question that you don't know is coming. So brace yourself,
okay.
because we're approaching Christmas.
Yep.
When you were a kid, what was the best Christmas present you ever got?
Oh, karaoke machine.
Karaoke machine.
Yeah. I think I didn't even know I wanted it, but my mum had clearly got it in the sale and brainwashed me into striving for that, and it was the best one I ever had. And I can't sing for toffee, so she didn't know what she got herself in for. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. So yeah, that'll be making a resurgence over Christmas, I think, with all the parties.
Okay, so that Christmas day that you opened it up, what was the song that you did over and over again?
Ah, Spice Girls. I think two become one.
That could have been Christmas number one
It
at the
was, I
time.
think it was,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a fantastic answer. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks for putting me on the spot.
So look, Amy, thank you so much for your time today. As I say, it's been really, really insightful, and it's always fantastic to get the views from such a massive influence, massive company as Eggeritt. So thank you so much for your time.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.